We've all heard about Apollo 11, the first crewed mission to land astronauts on the moon. But how many of us can name the first crew sent to visit a different celestial body? How about the first spacecraft to land on Mars or Venus? If you didn't know these missions even happened, you aren't alone. Some of NASA's most exciting feats are often forgotten over time. So today we're taking a look at some of the space program's biggest accomplishments that most people have never heard of. Let's get started. First up, Mariner 4. Launched in November of 1964, Mariner 4 was NASA's very first successful interplanetary voyage, making it one of the most important missions in our exploration of the solar system. The goal of this mission was to take close-up pictures of our red neighbor and send them back to Earth. After successfully arriving in July of 1965, Mariner 4 began taking photos. It captured images of craters, vast plains, and what appeared to be huge mountain ranges. At the time, scientists had no idea that these formations would turn out to be extinct volcanoes. Mariner 4 transmitted a total of 21 photos before its signal was lost, due to the lack of light available on Mars during its orbit. Despite this, the images returned were enough to lay the groundwork for future manned missions to come. Next, we have Voyager 1, launched September 5, 1977. This probe is considered one of the most important milestones in space exploration history. Voyager 1 was designed to study the outer planets and their moons. At the time, the spacecraft represented the most powerful and versatile interplanetary probe ever built by NASA. However, shortly after launch, a flaw was discovered in the orientation of the spacecraft's newly installed, gimbaled antenna. This issue threatened to cancel the Voyager program entirely. But after an emergency meeting, it was decided that the risk would have to be taken and the mission would proceed. Despite this setback, Voyager 1 managed to successfully reach Jupiter in 1979 and Saturn in 1980, sending back the first beautiful views of the gas giants and their small inner moons. In 1990, Voyager 1 crossed into interstellar space, becoming the first human-made object to do so. As of 2023, it continues to transmit data back to Earth. Next, we have the Genesis mission. This audacious project was planned as a sample return mission to bring pieces of the Sun back to Earth for study. Developed by NASA and launched in August of 2001, Genesis carried two identical sample return spacecraft. One was designed to collect particles from the solar wind, while the other was intended to collect particles from the solar flare and coronal mass ejections. It was hoped that these samples would help scientists better understand the origin of our solar system and the evolution of other systems. Unfortunately, the mission was cut short when the capsule carrying the solar wind collector failed to fire its return stage and instead crashed into the Pacific Ocean. The capsule containing the coronal mass ejection sample did manage to return to Earth, landing safely in Utah and providing scientists with invaluable data about the composition of our Sun. Next, we have the Galileo probe. Launched October 18, 1989, this ambitious mission aimed to study Jupiter like never before. In addition to studying Jupiter itself, Galileo was tasked with investigating two of the planet's largest moons, Europa, Callisto, and Io. Scientists suspected that beneath Jupiter's clouds was a liquid ocean that could potentially support life. Unfortunately, despite spending years orbiting the planet, Galileo never confirmed the presence of an ocean on Europa. Nevertheless, the mission did make several other significant discoveries. It found evidence that Jupiter's moon Io was volcanically active and discovered the previously unknown thin ring around Jupiter. Next, we have the Apollo Lunar Surface Experiments Package, also known as the ALSEP. This program placed a number of scientific instruments on the moon during the Apollo missions. These instruments were designed to study everything from the properties of the lunar surface to the effects of space on materials. The experiments included seismometers to detect moonquakes, a magnetometer to measure magnetic fields, and a heat flow experiment. The data collected by these instruments provided valuable insights into the moon's composition and structure. For example, the seismometers detected a number of moonquakes that were caused by the impact of meteorites. By analyzing the seismic waves generated by these impacts, scientists were able to determine the thickness of the moon's crust. The ALSEP experiments were a resounding success, and they helped to lay the foundation for future lunar exploration efforts. Next, we have the Viking missions. These were a series of robotic spacecraft launched by NASA in the 1970s to explore Mars. The Viking 1 mission landed on Mars in July of 1976 and transmitted the first close-up images of the Martian surface. This mission also included a seismometer which detected 17 Martian quakes during its 2 years of operation. The Viking 2 mission landed on Mars in September of 1976 and made similar discoveries. Together, the Viking missions provided the first close-up images of Mars and the first evidence that the planet had ever supported life. They also paved the way for future exploration of the Red Planet. Next, we have the Magellan spacecraft. This mission was a groundbreaking effort to map the surface of Venus using radar. Launched in May of 1989, Magellan arrived at Venus in 1990 and began mapping the planet's surface. The mission revealed a world of towering mountains, deep canyons, and vast volcanic plains. Magellan also discovered evidence of recent volcanic activity on Venus. The mission was a huge success, and it provided scientists with an unprecedented view of the Venusian landscape. Unfortunately, the mission was cut short when Magellan suffered a catastrophic failure while attempting to enter Venus's orbit. The next mission on our list is called Deep Impact. This was a mission to study the solar system's only known comet, Tempel 1. The mission involved 2 spacecraft, the flyby spacecraft that would observe the impact and the impactor that would smash into the comet. The goal of the mission was to learn more about the composition and structure of comets. On July 2005, the impactor smashed into the comet at 23,000 miles per hour. The resulting explosion released 300 million tons of debris, which provided scientists with an unprecedented view of the interior of a comet. The mission was a huge success, and it provided scientists with invaluable data about comets. Next, we have the Cassini-Huygens missions. These missions were designed to explore Saturn and its many moons. Cassini was a massive spacecraft that orbited Saturn for 13 years, making groundbreaking discoveries about the planet and its moons. Huygens, on the other hand, was a small probe that landed on Titan, Saturn's largest moon. This was the first time that a spacecraft had ever landed on a moon other than the moon. The mission revealed that Titan is a world like no other, with rivers, lakes, and even an atmosphere. It also provided scientists with a wealth of data about the moon's geology and atmosphere. Now let's talk about the New Horizons mission. This was a mission to explore Pluto and its moons. New Horizons flew by Pluto in 2015, providing the first close-up images of the dwarf planet and its moons. The mission revealed that Pluto is a complex and fascinating world with a diverse range of features, including mountains, glaciers, and even a heart-shaped region. New Horizons also discovered that Pluto has a thin atmosphere and that its moons are unique and dynamic worlds in their own right. Finally, we have the Parker Solar Probe. This is a mission to study the Sun and its effects on the Earth. The spacecraft has already made several groundbreaking discoveries, including the first-ever measurement of a solar tsunami. The mission has also revealed the never-before-seen phenomenon of switchbacks in the solar wind. This is where the direction of the solar wind suddenly changes. The Parker Solar Probe is still operating, and it is expected to continue making groundbreaking discoveries for years to come. So there you have it, some of NASA's most exciting but lesser-known achievements. From exploring the solar wind to discovering new worlds, these missions have pushed the boundaries of our understanding of the universe. Which mission impressed you the most? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.